50 million DNA profiles, sitting in private databases right now. The FBI has the legal authority to access every single one, and an 84-year-old woman named Nancy Guthrie has been missing since February. Think about that combination for 1 second. The most powerful genetic identification system ever built, a federal agency with the legal tools to use it, and a family that still does not have answers. Here is Promise 1. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why that system has not produced a name. Here is Promise 2. You will understand what is being built right now that could change everything within weeks. Nancy Guthrie disappeared from her home in Tucson, Arizona. She is the mother of Erin Moriarty, one of the most recognized faces in American television journalism. Her disappearance triggered a federal investigation. DNA evidence was recovered from inside her home. The FBI got involved. The databases were ready and legally accessible. If you are new here, this channel covers active investigations with sourced, verified reporting. Subscribe now so you do not miss the moment this case breaks. So why does no one have a name yet? C.C. Moore went on record to answer that question. She is the chief genetic genealogist at Parabon Nanolabs. She has personally contributed to solving more than 300 criminal cases. When she chooses to speak publicly about an active federal investigation, you listen. Her answer was not what anyone expected. To understand why the DNA has not led anywhere yet, you first need to understand what investigators actually found when they processed it. And it was not what the headlines suggested. The evidence here is what most people assumed. DNA was recovered, databases exist, FBI is involved. Therefore, a search was run and a name exists somewhere. That assumption was wrong. The DNA recovered from inside Nancy Guthrie's home is what forensic scientists call a complex mixture. That means biological material from more than one person was collected from the same surface. Multiple people's genetic material physically combined into a single sample. This is Promise 1 delivered. In a home where family members, visitors, caregivers, and contractors have moved through over years. Every person who touched a surface left a biological trace: skin cells, saliva, any contact at all. When a forensic team swabs that surface, they collect everyone simultaneously. Now here is where the science creates the wall. Standard criminal DNA searches use something called an STR profile. It maps roughly 20 genetic markers. The data gets uploaded to CODIS, the FBI's criminal database. If your profile is in the system from a prior arrest or conviction, it matches. 20 markers, manageable math, established process. Genetic genealogy is categorically different. It requires a SNP profile. That stands for single nucleotide polymorphism. A SNP profile examines between 600,000 and 1 million individual genetic positions across your entire genome. It is the same profile Ancestry and 23andMe generate when you mail in your spit sample. At that scale, when multiple people's DNA exists in the same sample, the genetic signals from each person overlap and interfere with each other. The algorithm cannot tell whose signal belongs to whom. The math compounds with every additional contributor. C.C. Moore confirmed it directly. This is a complex mixture with multiple contributors, and the technology to cleanly separate those contributions into an individual SNP profile does not currently exist in a validated, reliable, legally defensible form. The evidence is real. The evidence is usable. Just not yet for this. So if the technology to separate this DNA does not exist yet, the question becomes whether anyone is building it. And the answer to that question is what changes everything. The key question, this is Promise 2 delivered. C.C. Moore did not just name the obstacle, she named the solution. She named a company called Estra. She named them publicly, deliberately, in an active federal investigation. That choice was not casual. Estra is building an algorithm specifically engineered to solve the SNP mixture deconvolution problem. Not generally, not theoretically, specifically for cases like Nancy Guthrie's. And Moore confirmed the development has been fast-tracked. Here is what fast-tracked means in practice. The resources are accelerated. The personnel are focused. The timeline has been actively compressed. This is not a 5-year research horizon. This is a targeted build for active investigations happening right now. Here is exactly what is already in position waiting for that profile. 1. The FBI's Genetic Genealogy Unit is standing by and ready to begin the moment a clean profile exists. 2. Ancestry DNA holds over 25 million consumer profiles. 23andMe holds approximately 14 million. GetMatch holds several million more. Combined, over 50 million searchable genetic identities. 3. That 50 million represents roughly 15% of the entire U.S. population, well past the threshold where virtually anyone with a single living relative who uploaded their DNA can be traced through familial matching. 4. The FBI has the established legal authority to serve warrants on these companies. The warrant mechanism exists. The companies comply with valid federal court orders. 5. C.C. Moore and her team at Parabon Nanolabs can begin building the family tree immediately upon receipt of a viable profile. No delay, no setup time, ready now. Moore stated it directly on record. If investigators obtain a viable profile, a genetic genealogy will solve this case within weeks, possibly days. The pipeline is complete. The databases are loaded. The experts are positioned. The one missing piece is a clean, single-contributor SNP profile isolated from that complex mixture. And one company is racing to make that extraction possible. C.C. Moore named Estra publicly in an active federal investigation. She said more than she had to. Why do you think she spoke so specifically right now? Drop your theory below. But here's what the technical explanation alone does not answer. Why has the FBI said nothing publicly for months? And what does that silence actually mean? The suspect/truth layer. The FBI has been publicly silent on this case for months. Most people read that silence as stagnation. That reading is wrong. Consider the alternative. Investigators know the technology gap exists. They know Estra is building the solution. They know the pipeline is complete and waiting. In that context, the strategic move is to say nothing publicly that alerts anyone with relevant knowledge that investigators are currently waiting on one specific capability to become available. Silence is not always inaction. Sometimes silence is the strategy. The DNA thread is not the only thread running. The pacemaker data, the doorbell camera disconnect, the contractor investigation, the back door staging questions, the vacant neighboring property. These investigative threads exist independently of the genetic genealogy pathway, and they are still active. But the DNA pathway is different in one specific way. Every other thread requires inference, circumstantial connection, corroboration. The genetic genealogy pathway, once viable, produces a direct biological connection. Evidence from inside Nancy's home linked genetically to a named individual in a database of 50 million people. That is not a theory. That is an identity. If this case matters to you, like this video right now, it tells the algorithm this story deserves to stay visible. Nancy has been missing since February. Keep the pressure on. This is the thread investigators do not abandon. This is the thread they protect and wait for. Because when it opens, it does not produce a lead. It produces a name. The FBI has been publicly quiet for months. You now know the technical reason behind that silence. Does it read differently to you? Tell me below. The pipeline exists. The technology is being built. The databases are ready. What is not ready yet is the answer Nancy's family has been waiting for since February. The unresolved close here is what remains unconfirmed. How many contributors exist in that mixture? whether any have been identified through standard STR-CODIS comparison, the exact completion timeline for Estra's software, whether additional DNA evidence, cleaner, less complicated, has been collected through channels not yet public. Here is what Cece Moore did not say. She did not say the case is stalled. She did not say investigators are at a dead end. Every element of her public statement pointed toward a specific problem with a specific solution in active development. That framing, a solvable obstacle, not a permanent barrier, is a deliberate choice from someone with 300 solved cases behind her name. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. She is a mother. She has been gone for months. Her daughter is still looking. That is the weight this evidence, this technology, and this investigation is carrying. What do you think happens the moment Estra's software is ready and that profile goes into the database? Tell me what you believe below. This channel will be here when Estra's development reaches a reportable stage, when the FBI's posture shifts, when anything in this picture changes. Subscribe to Clint Crime. When this breaks, and it will break, you need to be here for it. Every case matters. Every clue counts.